Okay, so now let's go to a little bit of complex problem as compared to what we have solved so far. And we are required to draw isometric drawing from these two views. So basically these two orthographic views are given. This is front view and this is right hand side view. And from that information now we have to develop the isometric drawing. So first thing which we'll do over here is we will first see what is the length, width and height of the given object. And as we understood earlier that in front view we can always see length and height of the object. In side view we can see width and height of the object. Okay, so from this now we can see that the length of the object is 60 mm, right? This is 15, this is 30 and this is 15. So the length of the object is 60 mm, and from right hand side view we can see that the height of the object is 50 mm. Also from the right hand side view we can see the width of the object, and that is 20, 40 and 60. So the width is also 60 mm. Now with these three measurement we will first make one envelope in which our object will fit, right? And also we need to decide the orientation. That means whether we are going to draw the front view on this side or this side and side view on this side or this side. As here right hand side view is given, what we can do is we can draw front view over here on this face and side view, right hand side view on this face. So to begin with we can start from this point and we can measure length along this isometric line, that is this length, and width along this isometric line, and then from this point we can draw vertical line equal to the height of the object. From this point also we can draw a vertical line equal to the height of the object, and same from this point. Then we need to connect these 2 points and these 2 points, and then both the lines would be isometric lines. Now from this point and this point we need to draw isometric lines with this orientation, and that would give us the required envelope of the object. Now we will start drawing the object. So we will start with the front view. Now in the front view we can see that there is this shape and that surface is visible, right? So that means this surface is visible over here. Corresponding to that, if we see in the right hand side view, we can see that there is a vertical line, right? So that means this whole face is represented by a single line in right hand side view. That means this is a straight surface. So we can draw this surface by the given measurement over here. So for that, now we will start with the corner, and we will consider this corner which is over here. So from this point I need to move along length 15 mm. So here the length is on this line, so I need to move 15 mm along this line. So I will put the distance 15 mm and I will draw the line. Now from this point I need to move along height, and that distance is 10 mm, which is given here. So here height is represented by vertical line. That means I have to move along vertical line and the measurement should be 10 mm. So now this point is this one. So from this point I need to move along length and then along height and then again along length and then again along height. So that way I can move along the length, and the distance should be 30 mm. This must be isometric line, 30-degree line. So from this point I can move along the height 10 mm. From that point I can move along the length, this line. Then I will move along the height, this distance, which is 20 mm. Then I can draw this line, which is isometric line. And then I can draw this vertical line, which is this one. So we have completed this surface. Now again let's go back to the right hand side view. So in the right hand side view, corresponding to this surface, we can see this straight line, and then there is one line, this line, which is along the width. Remember, in side view we are seeing width as horizontal line. So this is along the width. Here the width is along this isometric line. Corresponding to this point, we can see there is a straight line along the width, right? So let's first draw this line. So this point is represented over here as this, and inside view this point is represented by this point, and from that point we have a straight line along the width of the total width distance, that is 60 mm. So we'll measure 60 mm, and we already have drawn the envelope, so it would be easier to draw that line. So we have now drawn that line. So now we are at this point. Now from this point we can see there is a line, vertical line, that is along the height. So here also we should draw a line along the height, that means vertical line, and that distance should be 20, which is given here. So from this we will draw a line of 20 mm, and that gives us this point. From this point we can move along the width on the left side, and that distance is 10, which is given here. So from here we can put 10 mm length here. Now from that point we can see there is one line along the height, that is vertical. So, and that distance is 50 minus 20, so this distance must be 30. So I need to draw a vertical line from this point of 30 mm, and I can draw this line over here. So as we did on this side, similarly on this side also the same arrangement is there, so we can go for it. So we'll first measure 10 mm, and then from that we'll draw a vertical line of 30 mm. Right, so now we have generated this shape, right, this shape. Now we have this point and this point. So from both the points we need to draw a horizontal line of 10 mm, from this point towards right and from this point towards left. So here we can draw line along the width 10 mm here and 10 mm over here. So we have almost completed this whole face, but now we have this line and this line, which is not along the length, it is also not along the width or height, that means it is inclined line. So in this representation that would be non-isometric line. Okay, so how to draw it? So for that we need to obtain this point. As we already have these 2 points, if we can obtain this point, we can then connect this point to this and this point to this. So we need to obtain this point, as it is appearing that this point is along the midpoint of the width, right? So what we can do is we can find midpoint of this distance 20 mm. So if we find it, it is somewhere over here, and so suppose we have marked this point and then from that point we need to draw a vertical line, and on that vertical line we need to measure the distance 10 mm, because that distance is given here 10 mm. So same thing we can do over here. We will find first the midpoint. From the midpoint we will draw a vertical line of 10 mm, and that would give us the required point, and then we can connect that point to this point with a straight line and to this point with a straight line. So now we can see the whole face is completed. Okay, right. Now we can see that corresponding to this corner, in this view, front view, we have a straight line only. So that line we already have generated. That means if it is a corner, there must be an edge coming out of it. Earlier also we have seen that if we have any one corner in isometric drawing, there must be 3 edges coming out of it, right? So the 2 edges must be isometric line, and 1 edge, 2 edges must be isometric line along the length and width, and 1 must be isometric line along the height. So if you look at this point, we have 1 edge over here, 1 edge over here. So there must be 3rd edge coming out of it, right? And that is going to be overlapped by this line, because if we look at this view, we can see only one line. And we can also understand now that if there is this step over here, so same kind of shape must be over here also in the object, right? Because here we can see this portion is empty. That means there must be a line parallel to this, edge parallel to this on the back side of the object, and that must be over here. So what we can do is we can draw a line of this length which is 60 mm from this corner, and then we can connect these 2 points. Right, so now we can see that this line will be overlapped by this when we look at it from right side. Okay, so now as from this point there is one vertical line, from this point also there must be one vertical line. So we can draw it like this, and that must be also, what should be the length of it? So that also must be 30 mm. And now if we see, these 2 points are on the isometric line, so we can connect them. So this point is appearing in right hand side view over here, and this point will be overlapped by that point when we look at it from right hand side. Similarly, we can draw parallel line to this line from this point here also, and the length must be equal to the length of the object, that is 60 mm. Also, the same shape as this must be appearing over here. So for that we need to draw one more line from this point. First, one line from this point, and we need to connect these 2. Now we need to see whether this corner will be visible over here or not. So for that what we can do is we can find midpoint of this distance, which also must be 20, because this is 20. So we'll find midpoint of this, and then from that midpoint we will draw a vertical line of 10 mm in downward direction. So that would give us some point over here. Now we need to connect this point to this and this point to this with straight line. As it is appearing, this point and this point both are already connected with a straight line. That means that edge is overlapped by this edge. So no need to draw it. But we have to draw this edge. So we'll connect this point to this one. And now at last we have to see if whether any edges are remaining from which should come out from any of the corner. So here we can see that from this corner these two edges are there. There must be third edge coming out of it, and as it is visible, so some portion of that edge is visible, we need to make it thick. Similarly, from this corner there must be 1, 2 and third edge, and that would be visible. So we need to make it thick, and that must be isometric line. Now, once you give dimensions to this drawing, then you can say that your problem is completed.